Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we have yet another community replay. If you'd like to send us a community replay, send it to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com. Please include the replay itself, of course, as well as the post-battle results, all four of them if you can get those. And then also please add a short description. Now if you'd like to have Sneaky Snake comment on a replay where you didn't do so hot and you want to learn from your mistakes, send that in to us as well with the things that I have previously just mentioned, and say in the title somewhere that you want to do a match analysis, and then say Mr. Snake or something of that nature. In today's replay though, we have Cheeky Shenanigans, I think. Can't see his name there all the way, but Cheeky something. We'll go with Cheeky Shenanigans. It is. We'll go with Cheeky because I think Sneaky likes Cheeky Breeky. Either way, we're gonna call him Cheeky here for this replay. He is playing in his Fletcher, and he is actually very interesting. He's using Speed Boost Fletcher, and based on his arrangement of consumables, it does not look like he's running Superintendent. Now, that's okay, because he does have quite a bit of health. He does look like he is using the health perk, and if we do look at some of these statistics here, we do see that he's not running something like AFT. So I presume he's running something along the lines of, obviously, Concealment Expert, but also HP perk, as well as maybe basic firing training and torpedo reload, which, of course, is not a bad idea. The Fletcher does have some of the best torpedoes in the game, having 10.5 kilometer range, and they are quite quick torpedoes as well. Of course, not as quick and stealthy as some of the IJN counterparts or the Pan Asian deep water torpedoes, but they are a good overall torpedo. So here in the replay itself, he said that he was trying to delay the C push from the enemy team for as long as possible, and so we're gonna see a lot of good kiting action here, and how to play a destroyer in these types of situations. So notice he's always angled away. And that is important because you can see there's a smoke screen up ahead. Now, granted, on the enemy team they've got a Gearing, Benson, Kagero, Kiev. So if that is a Kiev in there, which I suspect because he is shooting quite a bit, the Kiev doesn't have the range for the torpedoes to hit. However, the Kiev does get spotted, so maybe it is something else, maybe a Gearing or something. But either way, we're going to send torpedoes in there, and they've got a pretty superior force at sea. Looking here, there's 3 or 4 ships here, and well, there was 4 ships there. Now there's less than that. But we can also see on the minimap that we also have more ships coming in from the D5 location. Some very nice early torpedoes. Get that Gearing, outright kill him, and then we also land a few more torps on the Grosse Kurfürst, who surprisingly wasn't running Hydro. If you're pushing into a cap in a Grosse Kurfürst, please, please, please use your Hydro. That's what it's there for. However, our Magi goes down quite quickly, despite the island changes on this map from the last patch. They were unfortunately not able to help that Amagi, and the Des Moines is just going suicidal at this point. So, in my head, I would be thinking, if I was Cheeky, what the hell is my team doing? They're throwing the game already. And then, as well as the Yamato, he's right on the cap. It's a bit unfortunate at this point, seeing that some very powerful ships are already throwing the game at this point. However, Grosse Kurfürst, we have to watch out for his Hydra, but I don't think that we're going to be smoking here anytime soon. 1 set of torpedoes. All he really needs is one torpedo hit. With the flooding, it should be okay to kill him. Even if he doesn't get the flooding, the constant fire should get him that way as well. So we'll see if that will hit. Looks like it won't. But we're just gonna again keep angled and be spotting this Kiev. Now, even if the Kiev does have very good detection with Concealment Expert and Concealment Module, it is still never going to outspot a Fletcher, and a Fletcher will always be able to constantly spot it. One thing that does outspot the Fletcher, though, is the Kagero. The one thing the Kagero doesn't have is a good rate of fire. But he does smoke, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cheeky here smoke. Never mind. So, the good situational awareness, he noticed that the Kiev was actually going to be dipping behind that island, so he just calmly doesn't smoke, doesn't waste unnecessary consumables. And of course, if you are running Superintendent, you have to always be thinking of things like this. So, very nice play there. Somewhat rare that you would see such good play like that. However, the Kiev is not taking lessons. Now he's smoking now. Good job. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Cheeky angle into this smoke and start shooting. Never mind. Must be the Edinburgh smoke. Radar, rather. However, seeing that he is on pretty low health, I think it could have been a good option just to stay there. However, we're going to move out anyway. So the Kiev does die. Our team has captured A point. B point is under the enemy's control. However, still contesting C is a very, very nice play. Trying to hold this for as long as possible and delay it as long as possible is, of course, key. And for example, in competitive, that is something that is a tactic that is used quite a bit. Being able to delay the enemy points is something that a lot of teams sometimes forget about and don't really utilize as much as they should. Torpedoes in the way. Again, so one recommendation is there you were sitting broadside and you got a little bit lucky that those torpedoes got spotted quite soon. Of course, you do have the speed boost to get yourself out of a situation like that, but you always do have to be careful, because if you are sitting broadside like that in the cap, you do increase your chances of taking a torp. So, of course, that is always something to think about. So we see a lot of pretty close battleships, and this is good. This is actually where the Fletcher is quite strong, especially with this torpedoes. The spread doesn't go out too far, so the torpedoes have a good chance of hitting, but they are also quite fast and have pretty low detection. So by the time these battleships realize that they are getting torpedoed, a lot of the times it'll be too late and they will take these torpedoes anyway. So one other thing is, you could also consider, if you are playing a destroyer, especially US destroyers, and this also somewhat applies to other gunboat destroyers such as Russian destroyers that use smoke rather than the heal. You see that this Bismarck, he's not going to go out unspotted for quite a long time. So one thing you could consider adding to your play is being able to smoke for yourself. Now, while that might be quite greedy, it is also a very nice tactic to get to burn damage controls. Now that is of course crucial, because if you, let's say, burn this damage control on this Yamato through fires, you get 1, maybe 2 fires, he burns it, and then you get a torp hit. That means it's a full duration flood, or at least a partial duration flood, and flooding causes a lot more damage than fire does, and a lot of it is, I believe, unrepairable. So it is still repairable, but yeah, the percentage isn't. So even if it's not, still you will lose a lot more health through flooding than you will through fires. So so that is, of course, your mobility with floodings also is impacted. So that is also another plus. So you know, landing further torpedo hits is of course a little bit easier. So we're gonna wait for this Yamato to make his mind up, send 1 torpedo out, and probably going to maybe send another at either the Monarch or the North Carolina. I would say North Carolina just for the fact that you can kind of get dual purpose torpedoes where you're aiming for something like the Yamato and you end up hitting the North Carolina or even the Kiev that maybe isn't paying attention. You can see there the spotting differential between the Kiev and the Fletcher. Here I would be cautious opening up since the Kiev is somewhat low, about half health, 7k. We can take this engagement. However, there are a lot of ships here, and with only a Kutuzov who is presumably smoked, that is of course quite dangerous. We do land some nice torpedoes on North Carolina. Don't know if they were spotted. Torpedoes look amazing on this gearing. Let's see if I can switch to them. No, I can't. I can't switch to them in the replay. But we do get 1, 2. How many more? I think we're only gonna get 2. See if that North Carolina will actually eat those as well, and maybe get some nice flooding damage. And we do get a 3rd and a 4th torpedo hit. So I take it those second ones were on the North Carolina, and he's going to be flooding. We can see that in the damage indicator here. This Kagero is gonna run you down all day. But since he is shooting AP, I think we're gonna have to take this engagement. Now, so something I do like here is since you are the kiting DD, you are going to take this fight. And again, especially against a IJN destroyer, he does have high alpha strikes, but he doesn't have a very good rate of fire. I would recommend taking this fight. However, he does get smoked up, and at this point, I think it would be the good decision to disengage. And that's what we see here. So we do float out there North Carolina for 100, and we're currently at 190k damage. So very nice dual-purpose torpedoes, and again we're gonna see that here. I think he was aiming for the Yamato, but again we know that the Kagero is in the smoke. He's not detecting us, so let's see if we can get it. And again, the Kagero was being a bit silly, and he stopped right in the middle of his smoke, and he presumably didn't move. And he was sitting broadside, so we'll see if these are good on the Kagero. It doesn't look like any hit the Kagero, but oh my, this Yamato looks like he has seen better days, and we might get 3 or 4 hits of torpedoes. See 3 hits there. He's now on 12k. At this point, I would say smoking is again not a bad idea. You do have to be mindful of the Kagero, but I think increasing your damage just a little bit here is not a bad idea. Of course, doing your job as a spotting destroyer is also very crucial, so you are running that fine line between doing spotting and as well as doing doing damage as well. So good play there. Making that decision is of course sometimes difficult, but that really does differ the good players from the great players. So good decision there. Not sure what this Kagero, what this gearing is doing. Maybe trying to YOLO torp 2 destroyers and a Yamato. Not sure, but he looks like he's taking a lot of fire. Holding our fire here. That's good so far. However, we are down to 4 ships. However, all of their ships are under a quarter of their health. Except for the Benson. I don't know how much the Benson is at, but let's see. The Kagero is a one-shot definitely for us. The Kiev, we're gonna have to put out 2 rounds, or two volleys, I should say. So, the good thing about the Kiev though is we out-detect him, which is of course good because we can get that opening salvo, and the Kiev doesn't know where shells are coming in from. Conqueror does take down the Monarch, and we have torpedoes going out on the Yamato. Now again, something to be careful of. We do see that the Kagero and the Kiev are going back into sea. Now something you have to be careful of is your detection is right outside of these islands. Now if the Kiev or the Kagero comes right outside of this island and goes is charging you, because that's where you were last spotted, you have to be extremely cautious keeping your detection outside of these 2 islands. So as soon as as soon as the Kagero or the Kiev comes around the island, you don't get instantly detected, because that of course can lead to your death. And when you're on a one-shot for a lot of people, then it is of course pretty dangerous. See the Kiev here? We're going to be spotting him. No surprises here. Got to make sure to stay within. I believe we started detecting him at 7.5 kilometers. So, of course, staying between that 6.8 and 7.5 kilometer range is, of course, ideal. We could see why you should run torpedo armament expertise on the Fletcher. It does benefit quite a bit, seeing that our reload is only a minute and about 30 seconds. That is quite amazing. Gonna open up here again, a bit dangerous because we don't know where the Kagero is, but seeing that we're not spotted right now, I think this is not a bad idea. However, you have to also consider you are the last destroyer, so on your team, so you have to be careful about that. I'm gonna take some blind shots again. Not a bad idea. Blind shots are always good, and we do end up getting the Kiev with a stray shell. And honestly, it wasn't that hard. The Kiev should have known better that you were, there's always a possibility of you getting a stealth shot while you are in your smoke, and a lot of times it is not that hard to tell. And we see some very nice play by Cheeky here, and I guess that kind of goes well with his name, Cheeky Shenanigans. That's a perfect video title, I should say. So I think this is just about it. I'm gonna speed the replay up. Just basically gonna support. I don't think that Kagero gets spotted here by us. No, we don't have a shot. We do. At this range, we're looking at what, 10.5, 11 kilometers. We're not going to hit much, so I think the replay is just going to end right now. Alright guys, so looking at the post-battle results, Cheeky here did very well, 231,000 damage to finish off the game. Who said the Fletcher wasn't a good torp boat? And we could see that there with 15 torpedo hits, 3 enemy ships killed, and 15 floods, which is of course nice. 715,000 credits earned, 6.8k XP, and very minimal free XP. Devastating strike, Confederate, and high caliber, so a very nice game overall. Team score wise, 2,983 base XP, a very nice display of what the Fletcher is capable of, especially when you are on that kiting force. And of course that is a lot of times where destroyers do tend to shine, is when you've got an enemy force pushing and you can just torp them and run away. Something you have to be careful of, some of the US destroyers aren't the fastest, so you can get chased down by other destroyers, but of course we do have the speed boost in this replay, which a lot of times I do like shooting down planes quite a bit, and I think I do queue up with a carrier a lot, so that is something that I prefer to run. And I would recommend that you would run defensive fire, but of course that's your thing. We can see that the speed boost seemed to work somewhat well for you here. So that was a very nice game overall. Team did, I would say, a good job of holding and pushing the caps that they needed to. So good job to to our team as well. Detailed report. Torpedoes took most of the damage. Floodings, of course, flooding the NC, those dual purpose torpedoes, aiming at one target and hitting another. Good decision to shoot those at the North Carolina, Yamato, whoever, but you did shoot them at the right time and at the right place. So very nice job on that. And overall, a very nice game. And credits and XP, again, for tier 9, these are good XP and credit numbers, of course. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. If you did, please leave a like and leave a comment if you disliked, and comment what you didn't like. Again, send your replays in. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and let's get ready for some more videos coming up this week. Anyways, have a wonderful day. See you guys later.